This is Kathleen Drew, Chair of the Energy Facility Site Evaluation Council, calling to order our special meeting for Friday, August 6th at 11 a.m. This special meeting is for the purpose of reviewing the Goose Prairie Solar Project SEPA determination and expedited process. The Council may consider and take final action on granting expedited processing. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Department of Commerce.
Kate Kelly, present.
Department of Ecology. Department of Fish and Wildlife.
Mike Livingston's present.
Department of Natural Resources.
Lenny Young, present.
Utilities and Transportation Commission.
Stacy Brewster, present.
Local government and optional state agencies for the Goose Prairie Project, Department of Transportation.
Bill Sorial, present.
Assistant Attorney General. Administrative Law Judge. Oh, I think you were muted there.
Judge Sullivan?
My apologies, present.
Thank you. Okay, for EFSEC Council, Sonia Bumpus.
Excused.
Thank you. Amy Hofkemeyer.
Present.
Amy Moon.
Amy Moon is out of the office this afternoon or this morning.
Thank you. Kyle Overton.
Kyle Overton here.
Joe Wood.
Joe Wood, present.
Sean Chisholm.
Sean is also unavailable this morning.
Thank you. Patty Betts.
Present.
Stu Henderson. Stephen Posner. And our court reporter.
Taylor Garlinghouse, present.
Thank you. Counsel for the Environment.
Bill Sherman and Megan Salome.
Thank you. Chair, there is a quorum for the regular council and for the Goose Prairie Council.
Thank you. Is there anyone else on the call in the meeting who would like to introduce themselves? Please do so.
So this is Rob Dengel. I wasn't able to get on until now. So Ecology present.
Thank you.
And Chair Drew, this is John Thompson, Assistant Attorney General for EFSEC, just joining late. Sorry.
Thank you.
I'm Mark Herkey, Yakima County Farm Bureau.
Thank you.
This is Blake Bjornson with One Energy Renewables.
Tim McMahon, representing One Energy Renewables.
Okay.
This is Kara Warner with Golder Associates.
Thank you. Okay, with that, let's proceed to our agenda. We will get an update on the Goose Prairie project from Ms. Hofkemeyer.
Thank you, Chair Drew. Good morning, EFSEC Council. To give you some background, EFSEC received an application for site certification, or ASC, on January 19th of 2021 for the Goose Prairie Solar Project. On January 21st, following the receipt of the ASC, a request for expedited processing was received in accordance with WAC 46343. 46343. Per WAC 46343.050, a decision on expedited processing request is to be made 120 days after receipt of application for expedited processing or such later time as is mutually agreed upon by the applicant and the council. The 120-day timeframe was extended from May 21st to July 20th and further extended again to August 6th by the council with the agreement of the applicant. WAC 463-43040 requires EFSEC to conduct a public informational meeting and a land use consistency hearing within 60 days of receipt of the expedited processing application. This meeting was held on March 30th. During this land use hearing, a letter and certificate of consistency in relation to land use from Yakima County was presented by the applicant per WAC 463-26090. On July 20th, the council voted on the issue of land use consistency and found the project proposal to meet the conditions of consistency identified in WAC 463-26. On June 24th, the SEPA official, Sonia Bumpus, issued a mitigated determination of non-significance for comment. The comment period ran for 2 weeks from June 24th through July 8th, and 16 comments were received. The comments received resulted in identification of a new mitigation measure and 2 clarification items. After incorporating these revisions, a revised MDNS was issued on July 30th. Are there any questions so far?
Are there any questions from
none.
council members? Okay, go ahead.
All right. So to determine if the project is eligible for expedited processing, 2 questions must be answered per WAC 463-43030. The first being if the project is consistent and in compliance with local land use regulation. The second is if the environmental impact of the proposed project is non-significant or can be mitigated to a non-significant level under the State Environmental Policy Act. With the decision regarding land use consistency made on July 20th and the revised MDNS issued on July 30th, both criteria have now been met. Having met the requirements of WAC 463-43, EFSEC staff are requesting the council to make a determination on the January 21st request for expedited processing of the Goose Prairie Solar ASC. And the staff are available if the council have any questions.
Are there any questions? We did receive a packet of information which included all of this as well as a draft order. Council members, you've had a chance to review the information. Are there questions about any of the information and background or about the draft order?
If I could jump in really quick, Chair Drew, I realize I misspoke a moment ago. The public informational meeting and land use consistency hearing for the Goose Prairie project was held on March 16th, not March 30th.
Oh, okay. Certainly. Thank you. So in the packet on page 24 of 34 is the order granting expedited processing. Council members, are there questions or comments?
Chair Drew, this is Kate Kelly.
Go ahead.
I don't have a question. I just wanted to, I read closely all of the materials that were shared with us and just very much appreciate the background that we got and the thoroughness with which they were written. So that might explain why there's no questions. We just had everything we needed, and at least I did. So very much appreciate that. I would, and you may be going to do this after we get through our business, but it would be good to hear about what our next steps are on this project too.
Okay. Let's put that on to, we'll talk about that after this. I would like to say, I think I will, do we have, oh, there's the order in front of us right now. If for those of you who are on Teams and can see it, it's about 10 pages, which goes through the background and findings of fact that One Energy Washington Solar One LCC submitted an application for site certification, as you heard, for a solar PV photovoltaic project with an optional battery storage system on 1,568 leased acres in Yakima County on June 22nd. Oh, I'm sorry. That was January 19th, 2021, and then updated the application on June 22nd. And you heard the information about the consistency hearing, the expedited processing request, the certificate from local authorities attesting to the facility's consistency and compliance with land use plans and zoning. I would like to read the portion that the council orders. OER Washington Solar One LCC's request for expedited processing is granted. EFSEC will evaluate OER Washington Solar One LCC's application for site certification of the Goose Prairie Solar Project in an expedited process consistent with the requirements of RCW 8050-075 and WAC Chapter 46343. In addition, staff will develop a means to receive information akin to what the county would receive during a conditional use hearing as to site-specific conditions and criteria. I wanted to read that aloud for those of you who are participating in the meeting, members of the public, because even though we have a consistency with land use, that's at the high level that it would qualify for a conditional use permit were it going through the county process. And so we will then have a process that would be similar to that in front of the EFSEC Council. So that's a piece that I think is important for the public to understand. So with that, I would ask the council if there is a motion to proceed.
This is Lenny Young. I so move.
Okay, thank you. And if we could move that the council approve the applicant's request for expedited process with direction to staff to update the draft order to reflect an updated estimate for the start of construction. Do you approve of that?
I so move. I don't see that specific language up on the screen, and it's a little bit long, but that's my intention in moving this.
Thank you. Thank you. Is there a second?
Rob Dangle, second.
Thank you. And for discussion purposes, in review of the draft order, it referred to a start of construction date in the third quarter of 2021. And since we are there now, I thought it was best to ask the staff to update the draft order working with the applicant to a more realistic time frame. We don't have to have a month of start of construction, but perhaps a quarter and another future quarter that would be the target for construction at this point in time, because that's a little misleading to think that that's going to occur in the next 3 months, because our process will take that long at a minimum. So just a little bit of explanation on why that language is in, and I do, as chair, if this is successful, I will sign the order and I will make sure that's updated, so I won't have to come back to the council. Any further comments from council members? I know there was a great deal of work that the staff put in the work on the SEPA documentation with Fish and Wildlife and the applicant, and also in responding to the 16 comments that we received on the draft MD&S. So thank you for work in bringing parties together. Are there any other comments?
This is Stacy Brewster. I'd also like to express my appreciation for all the work that staff has done on this project. I know it's been a lot, and I appreciate the thorough information we've received.
Thank you.
Hey, Chair Drew, this is Blake Bjornson with One Energy. Can I just make a quick comment?
Sure.
First of all, thank you to everyone for being here today. But just at the top of this order, I'm seeing that it's LCC and it should be LLC. It looks like it's correct below, but just want to make sure we get that right on the
Thank
order
you.
there.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you all. And I'm here for any questions if y'all have any.
Okay, thank you. With that, I will ask the clerk to call the roll for the vote of the council.
Thank you. Department of Commerce.
Department of Commerce votes yes.
Department of Ecology.
Aye.
Fish and Wildlife.
Aye.
Department of Natural Resources.
Aye.
Utilities and Transportation Commission.
Aye.
Department of Transportation.
Aye.
And Chair.
Aye.
The ayes have it.
Thank you. The order is approved, subject to that one reflection of the change in date. I think there was a request to talk about what the next steps are. Ms. Hofkemeyer?
Of course. So staff will make plans to coordinate a public comment period to receive information akin to what would be received during a land use conditional use permit proceeding through the local siting process. And once that information is received, bring it back to the council. And the council may, at that time, choose to direct staff to prepare documents to provide to the governor, indicating their decision. And if the council so chooses, at that time, the staff may also prepare draft site certification agreement documentation. And the approximate timeline in the WAC for expedited process would be 60 days from today. So we'd be moving fairly quickly to get all this work done and information provided to the council in a timely manner.
Thank you. So we would have some period of time for a comment period, potentially a public meeting, which would be remote, or what we do here, because we still don't have a situation, unfortunately, due to the Delta variant to come together physically in the same location. I think that's not wise yet for all of us. So I would think we would have an opportunity for that, as well as written comments. And then the council would, upon receiving that, make a determination whether or not to proceed with a recommendation to the governor. And if it's a decision to proceed with a recommendation for approval, that would go with site certification agreement, which is essentially the contract between the proponent, the applicant, excuse me, One Energy Renewables, and the governor of the state of Washington, which governs the project no matter who owns it through the life of the facility, through decommissioning and site restoration, which I'd like everybody to understand that the compliance of that contract rests in the hands of EFSEC and the EFSEC Council through the decommissioning of the project, because I have heard concerns about whether or not there will be challenges with the disposal of materials should this be approved in 30 years or whatever the time of the contract runs out. And for example, EFSEC still has the compliance for state environmental laws with Columbia Generating Station, the nuclear facility electric generating facility on the Hanford area. And we continue to have compliance and oversight of that facility, even though it's been in existence for 40 years. So I just want to assure everybody that as we go through the process, it doesn't get handed back to anybody, should it be successful in its approval. And the governor will have, should it be a recommendation anyway, the governor has 60 days to make a determination of whether to approve the project, deny the project, or send it back to the council for additional work. So just to give an outline of what's expected in the future, since this is a new process to many of the people who are following this. Ms. Kelly, does that lay out specifics that you were looking for?
It does, Chair. Thank you for explaining that. Appreciate it.
Thank you. So any other comments or questions from council members? Hearing none, thank you, Judge Sullivan, for your work on this order, and we will continue to be in touch with you. Thank you, council members. And the order for expedited processing has been approved, and we will see you at our next meeting. This meeting is adjourned.